to make holds. A lot of times the reason why we don't escape bottom side is because we feel like in one movement, we should run a mile. Well, one step does not get you a mile. Each step just gets you a lot closer and a lot closer and a lot closer. And you have to be pretty patient with a lot of this.
So number one, he's in a good position. He's got his grips, and I actually am in a bad position. See how my arm's on this side, and see how my elbow's out? So the first thing I want to do is tuck this elbow. So I'm going to hit his thigh with my elbow, and then trace it in. A lot of times if I just pull down, it gets caught right here. And I feel like I can't get it in. So I'm going to hit the thigh, then I'm going to flare the hand, and that's how that becomes a lot easier. Then I'm going to make sure I cup the hip. What I like to do for this one is I'll put my hand just slightly past the spine. So his spine's right here. I can feel each individual vertebrae. So I'm gonna put it just slightly past. I'm gonna flare. Then as I feel him coming back through, I'm gonna come underneath of him. Because as you push him one way, he's gonna then come back that way, exactly. So I'm gonna flare, and I'm gonna tuck my thumb, and I'm gonna scoop some ice cream. And I'm here. If I do this, it gives him the opportunity to start attacking my arm. So we don't want that. So I'm going to now put my hand slightly past. I'm going to flare into his temple, and I'm going to tuck my thumb. Look, I go thumb down, and then I trace it up. Grabbing hold of the trap, not the deltoid. The trap's on top, the deltoid's over here. There's very little pressure or power here. There's a lot more from here. The biggest thing I want to do from here, though, is I need to get to a position where I can get my elbows between him and I. It's going to be the strongest position for me to hold him off. So I want to then bridge my hips. But if I just bridge, there's not much going on. What I need is a chain reaction from my hips into my elbows. So as I bridge, I'm going to bridge all the way up. Then from here, drop your weight. I keep his weight. There's a difference. I'm not lifting with my elbows. I'm holding. My hips do the bridging. So I bridge. Boom. And look how my elbows activate, but then my body drops back down. That's now created a few inches of space, which is beautiful for me. But look how my hips are still underneath of him. So there's a good way that I can fix this stuff. So as I bridge, watch what I'm gonna do. I'm already halfway out. So we got in here. I'm gonna bridge, but if I keep my hips completely underneath of him, it's not as effective if I move 2 inches over. See that? Just about 2 inches. Keeping the posture. If I do this stuff, I'm not gonna have the same bridge. So if I can move my feet just a few inches over, as I bridge, look what happens. They realign, so when I drop, that's already made space. So I'm going to bridge. Pop his elbows and land on my side. I'm not trying to keep him off very long. I just need enough frame to then bring my bottom knee back in. Once my knee is across that belly, I keep my hand here for right now. This hand will stay here as well, and the foot will wrap. Once I've gotten here, I'm going to then catch the inside of his armpit. Why not the elbow? Because there's a lot of room for him to pull his arm out. I'm here. Then I'm going to elongate. I want my knee and my elbow to get as far from each other as possible. Pull the foot through, and I have my guard. When we finish, I want us to get our grips. I want one hand on the hip, one hand on the floating rib, and then here. Because that's going to be our starting position for a new thought process. If every time we just get to the guard, we're like, guard, okay, done. We're never connecting ideas. So when we get to closed guard, we get our grip so that way he knows my first thought is framing. My first thought is controlling. One more time. Starting with no arm position. So we're gonna work on it. Drop, tuck, hit. Just past the spine, flare into the temple, and now we're gonna scoop some ice cream. So flare and scoop. Grabbing the trap, not the delt. Now I'm gonna hit my hip escape. When I hit my hip escape, I like to just lift just a little bit because it gets a little bit of a chain reaction. Sometimes this also lets me know the distance of his hip, right here. So as I lift, I kind of know where it is. Then, boom. From here, I'm gonna slide myself in. I hold for just a second. I'm gonna move, catch the inside of that armpit. Don't go for the elbow, guys, it'll slip out. Here, now I'm gonna get my elbow and my knee far from each other. That means pulling with my upper body, pushing with my lower. I can pull my foot out and get my grips. Or grips, either way. If you can't reach, because it's no-gi, I love this. Any questions? All right, let's do it 2 for 2. 1, 2, 3. All right, so I'm down. I'm in a bad position. He's on top of a good position. Look how he's based out on his knees. So first thing I need to do is make sure my hands are my first defense. So I'm gonna lock my elbow down, tuck it, and then flare it into the hip. Hands across his back, slightly past the spine, and I'm gonna flare. Once that happens, I'm gonna tuck my thumb down and scoop underneath. Grabbing hold of that trap on top, not the deltoid, but the trap on top. From here, depending on what you guys like, I don't mind this either. This actually allows me to really feel and see what's happening on this side of his body. Right now, I don't really know what his body's doing other than the fact that I can guess by the feeling of my right hand what the rest of his body's doing below the waist. But if I'm here, I get a much better feel for what his right leg, his right hip, and everything's doing. And the more sensation I get from what he's doing without my eyesight, the better. So we're here. If we want to hang out here, that's great. Don't recommend going foot over here because this actually opens you up for a toe hold for those that roll with people that like toe holds. Right here, and I like to tuck my toes nice and tight. When I know I'm gonna go, I'm gonna bridge my hips, and look how I scoot them over just about 2 inches. So what happens is when I do bridge, look how my hips realign naturally. That actually puts a lot of stress on his elbow right here. And a lot of times that allows me to flare it just a little bit. So not only breaks his grip, which is good for me. Once I've hit that hip escape and I'm on my side, I'm going to slide my knee underneath and tuck it where he is. This heel is going to reach around to the opposite side. And look how I'm staying tight. I'm gonna catch the inside of his armpit from underneath. And all I wanna do is pry him open, because there's no way I'm getting this foot out right now. None. Now there's all the room in the world. He gets his grips, I get mine. Or, any questions? The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add things to do. I'm gonna bridge my hips, and I'm gonna push pull. See how my right hand's pushing, my right hand's pulling, or sorry, left hand's pulling. So then I'm gonna use my left foot on the hip, and I'm gonna throw my foot over, and look how there's no space there. What I don't wanna do is this. I wanna hug. This is now my hook. It's all right here. But if it's below the knee, I won't have that hook. I have to have my knee above that shoulder. Then this foot's gonna come into lock. I understand that a fully locked triangle looks like this, but don't hang that way. This is a really improper way to use your muscles to hang. This is actually a lot easier for me, and this is actually gonna be tighter than if we do this. Is this very tight? It's also very hard for me to hold. This is much easier for me to hold as well. Strong position. So once we've landed, I have both hands now on the wrist. I'm gonna bridge my hips up. And as I drop them, see that little separation? That's what we're looking for when we do that bridge. So bridge, then push pull. Left foot on the hip, because this is straight arm, so this one that does something. The one that's tucked is one we're gonna throw over, so then it moves second. Look how this goes straight down. This foot now hooks to the outside. And this is where we're gonna stop. Again, bad position. First, second. And if you want to with your feet, perfect. Now I'm gonna bridge, so I'm gonna move my feet over and bridge all the way up, activating those elbows, so just in case he drops weight, drop the weight. Not gonna happen. Now I'm gonna bring that bottom knee in and poke it a little top. Catch the inside of that armpit and flare. So we can get the foot out. Perfect. Now I got my grips, bridge, push, pull. Which one's extended? Perfect. Same one goes on the hip. Which one's tucked? It's the one that you're gonna go over. Boom. Hook. Strong, strong, weak. Strong, weak. So if you want to hook, make sure we have our hips all the way up. Then this foot will come in here. This is easy for me, only due to structure and activation. If it's the wrong things working, this actually is a very difficult position for us to be in. But this in itself is very strong. Any questions?
All right, 1, 2, 3.
So we got the wrist, wonderful bridge, push, pull. Look where that hand is, guys. Armpit. Because one of the things that happens is if it's here, when I move forward, let's see, you're gonna be nice. Look how that hand's kind of like in that mix. Number one, even if I get it fully locked, some guys will start doing, and start pushing here. Boom. That's a fantastic way out of triangle. Like a fantastic way. And you also, as a human being, you don't want to be pushed in between your legs. It's not a very fun situation, but guys will do that. That's fine, you have to understand it. That hand needs to be hidden. Has to be. So when I get this push-pull, boom. And look how I rose my hips to the level that he is. Now I'm here. Now watch this elbow. I'm gonna push it. I know I'm gonna see this, but look, his elbow didn't move. Now watch this. His elbow does move. Now I'm gonna drop. But again, I know I'm gonna see that in reverse order. People are gonna do this. And then this is stuck now. So when my hips are bridged, look how flat I am. There's nothing for him to hold on to, so this becomes easy. Now I bring it down. Look how that's locked into place. It's locked, locked, locked. So after I've gotten that bridge, I hit that push-pull, I have my legs locked. Hand goes to the elbow with this hand. I'm not gonna reach across. Boom. Now I'm gonna push, just getting to the opposite side of my belly button. Now I'm gonna pull him down. I got two things to grab in this order. The ear, the shin. This stops him from posturing pretty well for two reasons. Number one, I'm holding his head. And number two, I'm adding a slight twist to his head. That's all thinking about if we were back squatting for a second. I'm fine in this position. The second I do this, y'all know the weight's gonna go off to the side. Exact same thing here. If he tries to posture and his head's straight, even if I'm pulling, it's pretty easy for him to posture. But if I add that little twist, it makes it so much more difficult. Starting at the beginning, bridge, push, pull. Foot on the hip. It's not this, guys. There's no push down. It's this. Look how that knee's tight as well. It's not flared. Here, bridge up and over. Look how my knee is next to that ear, and I hook to the elbow. And if my hips are a little low, bridge them up a little higher just for this little bit. Push and drop. Ear, pull, shin. This now means you ain't getting out of my triangle. Once I'm here, I probably say it's about a 95% chance I'm gonna submit you. I'm gonna do two things. I'm gonna let go of that, and I'm gonna reposition. Then I'm gonna rehand. Boom, 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 boom. Look how it's not behind. Look how it's on a shin bone. If you grab a foot, look how it goes into my ankle. Number one, if I'm really trying, I could hurt myself. And number two, after 10 years of doing this, pulling on joints really is uncomfortable. I need to take care of my body. So one thing, if you pull on your shin, it's not going through your ankle bone. Now, when I reposition, look how I'm at his back. Number one, I can't even choke him right now. It's too much space, because his back's too big. He's too strong, his muscles are there, his bones are there, and his rib cage is there. So I'm gonna get rid of all those things. So I'm gonna put my foot on his hip, and I'm gonna scoot back. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick up my shin and pull it over this little bump. Look how it's on his shoulder, not on his back. My knee and hip are in a line, and my knee and hip are in a line. What does that mean, coach? Look how my knee is closer than my hip. That's not a line. Look how my hip is too far left. That's not a line. My knee and my hip, and my knee and my hip are in alignment. This makes this angle easy. Let's talk about this again. If he's too close, man, look this, I can't hang it. If I'm on my side, look, I can barely hang it. It's not very good. What I need to is have this knee and hip in alignment, and have my knee and hip in alignment. Now this becomes easy. Never letting go of that shin bone. One more time. And we're still not at the finish yet, so please don't be tapping our partners. Bridge, push, pull, foot on the hip, launch over, hook. Outside leg, hooks in, bridge up more if you need to. Push the elbow, not the wrist. Then drop the weight. Back of the ear, shin bone, foot. Biggest thing is look how my knee is closer than my hip. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm backing out. Next thing I need to do is get rid of all this that I'm choking. I'm gonna lift and cut in front of it. Knee and hip are in alignment. Maybe I can do a little better. Then I hang. That's gonna be tight. Again, I'm not trying to squeeze, not trying to submit, but it should be tight, not that he's considering it. Any questions? All right, 1, 2, 3. You. It's also built on a very easy system, no matter who we are, to fit and adjust in a timely manner. Even if you have long legs or short legs, I got short legs. Even if you're going up against someone that's stocky or small, it's funny. The same idea is to get rid of space and make it tight. Work for all of us. The biggest thing is we have to find those origami folds. You and I are different. Your femur length is different than mine, even if we're the same height. Your arm distance, all these different things, their size, how tight you feel today. All these different things can change how we hit the triangle. If we understand the concepts of knee and hip ratio, then we're fine. Then we're fine, then we're fine, then we're fine. The more and more we move, the easier this gets. So if I hit this triangle, she's the smallest person here. But if I have a bad position, that's as tight as I can get it. Long Cuban folds. So I scoot back. That in itself, all right, make it bad, but me scooting back, look, I can actually hang it now. That's single one. Another one as well is even if I have a good situation where I'm on my side, this is difficult to hang. So this knee needs to scoot that way. Now look at that knee is even farther away than my hip. That's the easiest I could actually hang that. That's easy. But being here makes it a little harder. Being here makes it a little harder. And being here makes it almost impossible. So the same problems that you have against someone big, same situations that you need to close the extra space on someone smaller than. All of them the same concepts, you just need to find those right shapes to get rid of this space or take up space. Any questions on that? No? All right, I actually want to get into the defense of the triangle. And not just any triangle, this talks about the triangle we just set up. I'm not doing well here. Not at all. So the first thing I want to do is get my hand to the top of the knee. The other hand is going to go here, but I am not actually doing this to control the knee. I'm doing it to control my hands. Here. Now I'm going to dig and move that hip. You guys see that? One more time. I need to actually turn her on her side and actually bring in a little bit of weight. Because look how that brought all the weight off her hips. Right now she has weight on her hips. I won't move it. I come in just a little bit. Now it's easy to move. Now see how I'm holding the knee now? Now if I start to lean in, look how that angle is so hard for her to keep. Boom. I can either bring my other hand in, or I can bring my elbow out. And then start to pass. So that's number one pass. We are stuck in a bad situation. It is not my number one pass. It's not my number one escape. Sorry, escape, not pass. But what we want to think about is, how do we get out of the worst situation. Well, coach, how do you get out of this? No, don't get into it. Well, there is that answer. How to get out of triangle, don't get into it. But now we are thinking we're fully locked in this triangle. How do we start disrupting their way of keeping it tight? Move their hips, move that knee-hip ratio. Don't try and posture, don't stack. Those things are great, but most people know how to defend that after a while. If you take out that bottom little piece in a Jenga, that whole thing is gonna fall over. You don't have to knock over everything if you take one piece out. In jiu-jitsu, that's how you defend yourself. Learn that one way to take that one piece out to make the structure fall. If you can do that, you can stop them from submitting you quite easily. One more time. So I'm fully locked. With good positioning, see? Hand, hand. Not this way, because this can get peeled off then. It's gonna be my right elbow that as I move is gonna push us to the other side. So I need to block my right hand. Here. Now, I won't be able to move her hips right now, even though I weigh a lot more than her. Moving a human body is difficult. So watch what I do. Look how I move in just a little and add a little twist. That gets the weight off the hip, and then I can move it off to the side. From here, I'm gonna cup that knee, and I'm gonna start to plow my hips in. Boom. Once I know I'm free, I like to pull the elbow out and start to pass. If you want to though, you can bring the second hand back in, as long as you keep one and one out. This is wrong, and this is wrong. Once we are here, we're here either. Any question on that? So the biggest thing, once we get here, guys, is I need to lift to scoop. When I move in, that lifts her hips. Why? Watch what happens to my spine if someone pushes my knees. See how my back starts to curve? When it starts to curve, it starts to lift. And the second that happens, it's easy to maneuver them off the side. But if I'm glued with friction and weight, there's no way we can move me. So bring my knees closer. Remember how I already talked about that's one of the things I don't want as a triangular? The next thing is you move the hip over. And both of those are the two directions we already talked about that I want to fix. So if you can do that to me, you're starting to take those Jenga pieces away from me, and I can't build that tower to submit you in. You don't actually always need to escape sometimes. Sometimes you just need to make it impossible to submit you. And then our let go as well. Any questions? All right, so let's hit the whole thing. Bottom side control escape. 2 guard, triangle, then we escape the triangle. Any questions? All right, 1, 2, 3.